Yeah, I'll just apologize. Hopefully whoever was waiting will... I'm so sorry, you guys. I am still figuring out this tech and I totally messed up. I started my scheduled live a little bit early and then it messed up that scheduled live. So I don't know whoever was waiting. I hope you can navigate just to my current live. But now the whole description is messed up, which is what happened last month. So I'm just not figuring this out, and I'll have to go in and edit the description and the photo like I did last time, but I'm not doing it right. So I apologize, y'all, but we're here, and happy December. How are you guys doing? Oh, there's Marissa.
Hey, your scarf is messing on your microphone.
Oh. Think that'll be better?
Yeah, like that is a little delayed, but I think that's better. Yeah, we just keep it away from it. That's good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Marissa. Oh my gosh, the tech, y'all. It's so hard. It's so hard to figure out all of this, you know, to do this. And I'm still learning, so I apologize. Gosh. Let's spray some aromatherapy. Ugh. I'm spraying a little mist. I just get this from Sprouts. This is fig black tea. I need some sensory pleasure because I'm telling you, stress. I just can't figure out how to do this correctly. Let's sage, let's banish all tech demons and cleanse the space. It's all going to be okay. By next year, December 2026, I'll have this down. That's all I gotta say. December 2026, y'all. Speaking of December 2026, this is a super moon. It's, I think, our third one in a row. And it's the last super moon until like late next year. So let's enjoy our last big bright super moon of December 2025, the cold moon, and I'm here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where it snowed. I woke up to a magical winter wonderland. And you know, my favorite part about that is that right now, I just went outside, the sun is shining and it's almost all melted, which is my personal preference for snow, to just have like little quick fun celebrations of it and then it goes away. But it is much chillier here during the winter, which is why in the summer it doesn't get as hot as Phoenix, even though New Mexico also has over 300 and some days of sunshine. So, you know, it's bright and beautiful. It's a little higher elevation, so the climate is just more temperate, and I absolutely love it. Part of me just really wants to move here. Maybe that will happen. So I'm going to go see my, and now I'm not going to be able to find my, now I'm not going to be able to find it because it was scheduled. It still says scheduled. Hey Marissa, can you put something in the chat? No, it says waiting, so that's not the one. Let's see. Yeah, I have not figured this out yet, y'all. What are we on, number 3, and I'm still working on it. Of course, I'm trying different, like now I have a different mic, and my first one I did on my laptop, and now I'm trying to master doing these on my phone. I don't know where to find my live now. You might have to ask your question. You might have to text it to me, Marissa, because I don't think I'm going to be able to find my live. I mean, yeah, this is not going to be my greatest moment, my greatest tech moment. Okay, she's sending me the link. I guess I can use my phone. Okay, here we go. Thank you. This is not going to be my greatest. Okay. Bye-bye, tech issues. Okay, I'll just use my phone. So, it's December, and November, and especially December, is a time of year where we have some of our most important holidays. You know, we have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, and it's a magical, magical time. And there's a long history of this time of year that goes way back before Christianity. So I wanted to read a little story about that, because you might not realize that in the early Puritan times, the Victorians, under that time, decorating a Christmas tree was actually illegal. It was a crime because it was considered to be part of the old pagan tradition, because the pagans would light trees outside to symbolize the fact that it was midwinter, and during midwinter, the winter solstice, which is December 21st, that's the longest night of the year before the days start getting shorter, or the nights start getting shorter, and we have our ascent into spring and having longer days and more sunshine. So they would light trees to symbolize this dark, dark time, and that light was going to be on the horizon and it was coming back. The original meaning of the resurrection, the sun being reborn. The Norse, because we're doing runes, the Norse symbol for December is Dagaz. The Norse were part of the ancient Celts. That's Dagaz. Dagaz means daybreak. These symbols were how this was their written language, so each of these symbols is an expression of a set of ideas. I forget how many there are. I was gonna go buy some runes in Albuquerque, and I've literally been working since the moment that I pulled up to my B&B. Wednesday afternoon. I have not had time to go do anything. I haven't even had time to go eat. Thank God I brought food. So yeah, I'm a little flustered because of that too. I didn't have time to prepare because I've been so busy, and that's one of the reasons I love it here. I love my clients that I have here. And last night, my last client, actually, when he was leaving, he pulls out this crystal from his pocket. He's like, I want to show you my crystal that I've been carrying for 15 years. So there's just a sense here of magic and spirit, and it's a very indigenous state. There's a culture here, I think it's called Chicano. I think I'm messing that up. But it's basically a blend of the Mexicans and the indigenous people that were here, which is common throughout the Southwest. I mean, obviously in Texas, you have the Alamo. I mean, the Mexicans joke there, they call themselves Tejanos because they were the indigenous people. So in the South, you know, the indigenous people were Mexican. but then they were considered, indigenous, and a lot of them are part of who was put on the reservations. And anyway, we don't have to go all into that. But there's a very rich culture here that I love. So anyway, I was also going to look for a new tarot deck, but there's time. I'll be back. So let's pull a card for our full cold December moon ceremony. Sage smells so good. And it's my card. Yay! I needed a really good omen. So strength is part of the major arcana. And strength in this deck is symbolized by the lion, and it usually is, actually. Its strength is usually a lion in every deck because it's Leo. Which obviously I'm a Leo. And it fits because Leo's the sun. It symbolizes the sun. It's the August astrology. And that's what we're ushering in during this dark time of year, is the return of the sun. So let's read strength from my deck that I love, that I got in Tucson about 5-6 years ago, the Wild Unknown Tarot deck by Kim Kronz, which is all part of nature. It's all animals, insects, creatures. Strength, mastery of emotions. It's common to think of this card as the roaring, devouring side of the lion. But look again. The strength this card suggests is a much deeper force that's found within. The lion represents our most patient, composed self. He's a master of focus, compassion, and self-control. When this card comes up, you're in need of harnessing this power for yourself. All the courage you need can be found in the muscle known as the heart. Thank you, strength. Let's read our blessing, our frost moon blessing. May this frost moon hold you in its quiet calm. In this longest night, let the winter solstice become the womb, a dark stillness where new life gathers its first strength. Let the cold night clear the noise, Santa and sugar, shopping and spirits. The frenzied rush of consumerism fades. Dagaz glowing at the edge of awareness, a faint heartbeat under the frost, and dawn whispers, I am ready. May the season flow with a more ancient rhythm, stillness, rooting, a quiet birth. Renewal approaches, daybreak emerges on the horizon. Blessed Yule, blessed be. So, when you gather around your glowing Christmas tree this season, you are actually stepping into a story far older than Christmas. It is an ancient story of winter darkness and returning light, a tale of banned rituals and forbidden magic. A story that mirrors the heart of what I explore here at Gen Zenden, where we break down old, tired dogma and open new pathways of perception. The cleansing of this inherited fear and shame-based culture. The cultivation of freedom and inner truth. It might shock you to know that the simple act of decorating a tree was once considered so dangerous that it became a crime. Illegal. You've probably heard of the story of the Grinch stealing Christmas, but there's another story, not a cartoon, where the Puritans in Massachusetts literally banned the holiday altogether. This living symbol you lovingly honor each December once carried the weight of suspicion, fear, and legal punishment. Not because it was frivolous or silly, because it was ancient, because it was powerful, because it came from a world that honored nature and the cycles and the returning of the true sun. Let us walk back through time and remember what the tree truly stands for. Long before the advent of Christianity, evergreen trees that stayed green throughout the winter provided a special meaning for people. Just as people today decorate their homes during the festive season with pine and spruce and fir, ancient people hung evergreen boughs over their doors and windows. In many cultures, it was believed that evergreens would keep away ghosts and evil spirits and illness. In the Northern Hemisphere, the shortest day and longest night of the year falls on December 21st. It is called the winter solstice. Many ancient people believed that the sun was a god and that winter came every year because the sun god had become sick and weak. They celebrated the solstice because it meant that at last the sun god would begin to get well and return. Evergreen boughs reminded them of all the green plants that would grow again when the sun god was strong and summer returned. Early Christmas tree traditions. Germany is credited with starting the Christmas tree tradition as we now know it in the 16th century, when devout Christians brought decorated trees into their homes. Some built Christmas pyramids of wood and decorated them with evergreens and candles if wood was scarce. It was a widely held belief that Martin Luther, the 16th century Protestant reformer, first added lighted candles to a tree. Most 19th century Americans found Christmas trees sort of odd. The Pennsylvania German settlement had community trees as early as 1747, but Christmas trees were still seen as pagan symbols and not accepted by most Americans. So, I don't want to read this whole. I printed all this out, but it's too much. Basically, the festivals that would happen during this time of the Puritans were a little bit too debaucherous. People would be drinking wine, like hot wine, which is an old Europe tradition. I lived in Prague for a year and a half. I taught English there, and it was so fun to be there for Christmas in the old town square and the Christmas markets, and there would be this straszny vino, this hot wine served at all the booths, and a big tree decorated in the town square, and people would buy handmade things and drink this wine. So to the Puritans, this was debaucherous, and basically they outlawed the Christmas tree altogether because it was considered like a symbol of idolatry, you know, the worship of an object. There's carvings throughout the world from the ancient peoples. Oh, I just got this, but it's not working. It's supposed to turn on. I got this at Walgreens, y'all. Oh, it doesn't work. Well, anyway, it was believed that these carvings that were found everywhere of different objects, you know, this also was these ancient traditions. And so that was all banned and it became evil and wrong to worship an object. But objects can be just symbols that remind us, you know, of things that we hold dear. It's nothing to fear. So, Dagaz, daybreak, the return of the sun realization, the understanding that only comes after our darkest hour. To see again with fresh eyes. Did you have a question, Marissa? I'm hoping the person waiting wasn't the person, because I had someone comment and they said, I would really love a reading from you. So it makes me sad that I messed up, because it would have been really fun if they could be here to ask a question. But if you watch this after, if you find your way to this live stream, just hang in there. Feel free to message me, and we'll figure out this live thing, because it would really be fun to have people in the chat that wanted me to pull a card. Can you pull a card for me? I've felt lately something about me is attracting negativity or bad luck. Even though I've tried to stay positive in myself, how do I attract more positivity? Yes, sometimes in life, I've been there. Oh my gosh, it just feels like I can't do anything but just attract the wrong people, or it happens, you know. Dagaz. Fresh perspective, fresh energy. Three of Pentacles. I lied. I guess that not every card are animals, because this is a mountain. Pentacles represent money, our tangible world, projects that we're creating. So let's read the Three of Pentacles. Teamwork, determination, and focus. The Three of Pentacles. The task ahead is monumentous. Usually it is related to your job or career. The Three of Pentacles suggests you must focus all of your effort. Discipline, strategy, and hard work are needed more than ever. If you become weary or overwhelmed, rely on those around you. This is a card of teamwork, so you may need the strength of others to conquer this mountain. Indeed, and we've been talking about that. you know you have me here to support you. Yeah, it's scary and hard, you know, which is where we're at in the wheel of the year right now. You know, if you really look at the months and the seasons, this is winter and this is a struggle and this time is hard. And it's why it's a great time of year to go deeply inward and face the darkest demons. And that's what this time is for. So it's a good time to journal and ask, you know, what is it inside you that is needing that energy? For me, I came to realize in my choice of many bad relationships that I actually drew those people for a reason, because I needed to feel a sense of control, because when you are with someone who's terrible, you feel like the better person. And so you kind of need that superiority. You need that. I always had more money than them. I always dated people that relied on me for financial support, for sometimes physically, you know, they would, you know, I would take them in, I gave them shelter, food, support. I was kind of the mama bear. And that was because I needed that. It's a huge distraction from your own deepest stuff when you surround yourself with drama and negativity. And sometimes you will continue to do that until you are ready to face the true broken part inside of you, which I feel like I'm still working on in life. So that's a project. But the point is taking that responsibility for it and figuring out what it is that you are getting out of this cycle, you know, of these negative relationships, and how you can release that, because it's really scary. It's almost easier to be in that space because you can just complain all the time and be in survival mode, which is a great instigator. You know, when you're in survival mode, you just get every day and you're so busy surviving, you kind of can't face, you know, your own stuff. So it's scary to actually step into a space where you're taking on something that you can't blame anybody else for if it fails, or, you know, something that you really want. Like, maybe this will make you really happy, but if it doesn't, that's like it's just scary. You know, what if you fail? What if it doesn't work? You know, that's a much scarier place than when you're just surviving amidst drama. I don't know if that makes sense, but I know for me, I've been there. I've been through that most of my life. So, yeah. Dagaz, daybreak. New energy, a new self, your own beautiful self emerging from the darkness and carrying yourself in the womb. It's really yourself that you're giving birth to. And that's scary and hard. And you have to remember to look in the mirror, or put your hand on your heart and your belly, which is one of the things I love about the type of yoga that I seek out. I seek out yoga teachers that will instruct you to do these things, you know, like put your hand on your own body and nurture that broken child, you know, nurture yourself, your own self, divorced from anybody else in your life, because it's your own self that you're bringing into being, you know, every day, every month, every year. You're constantly rebirthing yourself and becoming a new person and a stronger person and a person willing to step into positivity rather than negativity. So we'll burn a little more sage in honor of banishing our own self-destructive tendencies. Oops, I just put the candle out. Dagaz, the solstice, the longest, darkest night. And Yule, the lighted tree that symbolizes hope and renewal in the dark night. Yule So what else did I have? I think that's kind of all. I was gonna prepare more today, but I mean, my phone just did not stop ringing this trip, y'all. So, we might make this one a little short because I'm so frustrated that I keep messing this up, and I'm really trying to figure this out, y'all. But the nice thing is, the point of me starting this project to learn and to practice, and I didn't expect it to go perfect right away. So, yeah, I'm in that space, and each month I'm collecting my ideas for the themes and what I want to talk about each month. And I feel like, you know, I've had a couple of months and now we're going into the new year. And by next year, in 12 months, I feel like I'll be so much farther with being able to prepare and being able to talk on camera and kind of have my thoughts organized and maybe have a small community that's here, because I really want these to be more interactive. So thank you. I'm going to send some hearts. Are you still here? My beloved Marissa, I love you so much. And yeah, I think that we can say farewell until January. Have a wonderful, beautiful Christmas and enjoy all those things that we grew up with, because I don't mean to be a negative Nancy about it, you know? Santa, shopping, sugar, and spirits. Those things are all fun, but it's important to remember that just because our culture has become so focused on these material things and drinking and eating a bunch of candy and cookies and things that really are not really very good for us, you can enjoy those things in moderation, but remember that the reason this time of year is so magical. It has nothing to do with those things. It goes back far, far before any of that. And it's because of the cycles of nature. And it doesn't matter if you're in the northern or southern hemisphere, because in the southern hemisphere, they're celebrating midsummer. So it's switched. But these points of the year, which is the halfway points, are very sacred and magical. And we all feel that deeply as humans. That's why every culture celebrates midsummer and midwinter in some form, every religion, every part of the world, because it's a truly magical time. And so just remember to do some things that are deeper and love yourself and appreciate those around you that you love, because that's really what's important and what it should be about. So thank you guys, and I love you, and thank you so much, Marissa. And good night, and blessed Yule.